It's a Colorwork which is worked flat, and I chickened. Hi and welcome in 2021. This is episode number 4 of Uniko Knitting Podcast. My name is Casia and I'm a knitter and indie dyer. You can find me on Instagram as Uniko Knits and Uniko Yarns. I live on Bornholm, a beautiful sunny island in the middle of the Baltic Sea, and this is my little space on the big web where I share with you my journey. So please grab your favorite cup, something to work on, and let's dive into my colorful universe. Today is the 8th of January 2021, and this is quite a special date for me because today it's my sister's and my mother's birthday. So happy birthday if you're watching, and if you're not, then well, you don't miss anything. I'm gonna call you later. And I would like to say thank you for everyone who joined my channel. We are almost 800 subscribers. This is just mind-blowing. So great thank you for this, for joining me and giving me this opportunity to talk to you. Thank you for the comments. There was some people who shared with me how they experienced the Christmas this year, how they celebrated, how it's different. It is a pleasure to read about it and talk a bit about it. And thank you for those who wrote about the patterns ideas, about the Icelandic sweater. I told you that maybe you remember, or maybe if you watched the previous episode, then I've made this beautiful Icelandic sweater in a very thick wool, and I did not swatch, so it got quite big. So I got some comments about how I could feel it so it could fit my body, and I was considering it, but then my boyfriend, he just took it and now he lives in that sweater, so there is no way back. I can't get it back. He loves it. It's super warm and it fits him, so I mean, that's just win-win. I ordered some new yarn and I'm gonna show you later. But there are also some people who wrote to me about the ideas with patterns, about Icelandic patterns in that wool, which is really great because I think it's quite hard to find the patterns for that wool, which is so thick. It's a bulky wave. So thank you for that. I watched all of the designers and all the threads that you sent to me. So that is super nice that we can inspire each other. That it's actually a dialogue. There was one person who wrote to me that you noticed there what stands behind me. It's a loom. It's a floor loom, and she would like to hear more about it. And I think I'm gonna talk about it, but not in this episode because I have already so many things I would like to show you that I don't want this episode to be way too long. But it's definitely something I would like to talk about. So thank you for everyone new who joined this channel. I hope you're gonna enjoy as well this episode. New year. How are you? Are you good? Did you start? Do you also feel energetic about it? Or do you feel hopeful? I know there are crazy stuff going on in the world, but how are you? I think I'm gonna talk about my New Year's Eve a bit later. It was quite different this year than what it used to be. But I think it's a knitting podcast, so I would show you some knitting projects, and then if you want to stick around, then we can chat about other stuff. So I would like to start with showing you what I'm wearing. I wear quite special sweater today. It is... I will gonna show you. Oh, sorry for the sound. But it's quite plain sweater with a nice fit. It's not too big, it's not too small. This is the sweater I've made. It's I designed. And it is actually because my sister wanted to have a sweater for the Christmas Eve as a gift, and she asked me if I could make a sweater that is not too oversized or not the yoke because of a shoulder, like the yoke does not fit her, and same time she wanted something to is a bit more fitted in the on the shoulders. So I got inspired and I sat down and I drew it on the piece of paper, and then I decided to just try and see if it's gonna work. So I knit this one in the one strand of merino fingering wave with like the small speckles. I don't know if you can see them, but they're like blue. Oh yeah, you can see here, blue speckles. And 2 strands of silky mohair with just white color. I dyed this sweater for my web shop, but then it got some coffee stain. So it is in original. It has like this blue speckles, and the coffee gate is like a bit browny speckle. So that was not planned, but I think when I knit it up, you can't really see it was a mistake. So the construction is a top-down sweater with this nice neck. I really like it that it's so thick in it, and I made some shoulder construction, which is like you knit here. Can you see it here? And then it's I like really that line which is going down, so it's more fitted. It's like when I'm making raglan, sometimes I feel a bit bulky. But yeah, it is different way of making the shoulder construction. I did not see it anywhere yet, and I am considering to maybe make a pattern in 2021. The pattern making is not that easy that I thought. Even the little neck tube, it takes time, and for sweater I think the grading process is gonna be challenging. So yeah. Do you feel like you could make a sweater like this? It's quite plain, but with different way of setting the sleeves. Is there a place for more plain sweaters? How do you feel about it? And I'm gonna look into the grading. I can't promise anything right now. I don't want to put on my plate more than I can eat, but it is definitely something that might happen in the future. So yeah, this is it, my sweater. I thought if I'm gonna make a pattern, I'm gonna call it Sisterhood, just because I made it because of my sister. But yeah, it's really nice and cozy. The fabric with 2 strands of mohair and merino, it's really lovely. It's warm and it has a nice feel. Yeah, but this is what I'm wearing today and the story behind it. But I would like to show you what I have been knitting on. So we go straight to my FOs. I just take a sip of my cold coffee. And again, an amazing cup from Jerome. So this cup is just amazing with this roughness and the glaze. Yeah, Jerome is amazing. And he made the new Instagram profiles, which I'm gonna put below. Oh yeah, I wanted to say actually, because after or under each episode in the in the box under, I write all the informations I'm giving here on my episodes. So yarn and designs with links. They are not affiliates, but so I'm not earning any money. It's not sponsored or anything, but I'm just thinking that when I'm showing something, it's maybe nice for you that you can easily find those patterns if you're interested. But yes, let's go to my FOs. So the first FO, it's actually a cast on which I made on the 1st of January. I was quite tired that day, and I wanted just to sit down and don't think too much, and just watch many podcasts, knitting podcasts on YouTube. And if you have been following me on Instagram, then you can see I was posting those podcasts I was watching. And while I was watching it, I just wanted to knit something nice with like this nice and fast. So I made this one. This is a baby bear Balaclava from Knitting for Olive. It's in the smallest size, so up to 1 year, and it is a little gift. So I'm not expecting anything. It's a little gift for my friend's daughter. She asked me if I could make some hat for her. It was in the beginning of December, and I was just so busy with all the Christmas gifts that I said yes, I would do it, but it will be after. So because I don't want to get stressed. And she said it's okay. So it has it's on a 3.5 millimeter needle size, and I made it in one strand of never like the yarn that I showed you already so many times. It's I feel like it's never gonna end. This is the Uniko party on merino sock base, so with some nylon, which I think is nice when you're knitting for kids because you can wash it and it holds better and it's not scratchy at all. And then I put it together with this champagne silky mohair, which shows quite white right now, but it's it has this yellowy fade, and it's have a very nice construction. I think it needs a bit of brain space to make it because there are many German short rows and you have to follow it. Instructions. I would never find out how to make the pattern like that by myself because this 3D construction are quite amazing. So you start with the opening of for the face with just 2 strands of merino, and I think that is really nice. So kid is not getting all the mohair in the face, in the eyes and the mouth. And then it has and then after this little part here, then you put the merino strand. So it gets warm and very soft. And then you knit it round and round and round and make the ears. The ears are open until the time when you're actually done with all this back part. And then you make a Kitchener stitch to close them. And then you make a neck. And I decided to make there are two versions of the pattern, so you can make it so it's finished and after the ribbing, or you can make a little part for the neck, which is also really good written. So there is like this shoulder construction, so it is nice laying on the shoulders, and then it's rounded on the neck and on the back. So I did not block it. I waved off the ends, but yeah, it's not blocked. But it's a really nice little project. I started and finished it on the 1st of January. And this is a gift that I'm gonna actually give it today to my friend. What I want to say is the pattern is very well written, but I don't think it's like totally new beginner. I know you can disagree, but there are some things that you have to know before knitting such a pattern, or I don't know. I think the Knit of always has a great patterns. I love their design, and I knitted already like 3 things, I think, garments for kids. But sometimes I have to use my brain to could imagine how I should do it. I think I was trying to look something up on the YouTube as a tutorial because of that pattern, but it can have something to do with the fact that I was just really tired in my head that day. Might be. So this is the first thing I've made, and then I have another FO finished object, which I casted on before the New Year's Eve, and I decided to use the scraps from the sweater I made for my boyfriend, the Icelandic ones. So I made it with Alafosslopi, and this is not the color, but just so you can see the name. So it's Istex. But I made it in the skein of the yarn that it was left from my sweater. So this is Lumi socks from Fiber Tales, and this is just such an amazing knit. I mean, the pattern is so good written, and it is super fast knit. I don't know how much time it took me, but it was super fast. I think 1 evening or something like that. The pattern calls for 5.5mm needle size, and I thought I took 5mm needle size to make it, but then after some knitting I realized it was actually 5mm, which was good because I actually met the gauge, so yay. So I can say that this is kind of the swatch for the next sweater I'm gonna make. So it's you start here with the Latvian braid with the scrap yarn, and then you make this really nice cup which is profilated with the slip stitch on the behind. Like here you have a slip stitch, and then you have a slip stitch in the front of the sock, and then the cup is really nicely profilated, and then you have the heel flap, which is not my go-to heel, but it is so well written, then it was just a joy to make it. And then the rest of the fit, and what is nice about it, that she actually made those socks so the right and left foot have a different pattern from the toes, so it is really profilated. You can see it here, and that this is the right leg, sorry. So this is for the right foot. And I used a bit more of than one skein. No, this is not true. I used a bit more than half of the skein for this sock. So I had 35 grams left, which was too little to make another sock. So I've decided that I'm gonna need that ready, and because I anyway wanted to order more of the Alafosslopi yarn, then I decided I'm gonna order one more skein, so I'm gonna make a second one. So right now I have only one. But then I had this green color of Alafosslopi, which I bought it together with the sweater, ordering the sweater yarn previously, because I was not decided if I want to have the red or the green pattern. So I ordered the green one as well, but I ordered only one skein. And I was thinking what to do about it with this one skein, because I really like the color, but I don't think it's like my favorite. So I thought that maybe I could make the socks, but I thought that I could modify it so I could get another pair. So I made this one also extremely fast. And they are not the prettiest, because I'm actually wearing them almost every day over another sock, and I'm wearing them also in my boots, which they do not recommend because it is not a superwash yarn. It's a bulky, and I know it's gonna get holes while wearing in the boots. I can see already it felt a bit here, but I mean, it's so amazing to have warm feet, so I don't care. I'm just gonna make more of them. And Inge from Knitting Traditions, I know she also made like so many of those. It's so fast and so nice knit and so mindless. After making at least one part, and you can almost make it from your head. So super used right now. And I made the modification, and I thought I'm gonna tell you how to do it without giving you a pattern. So if you want to make a whole pair of the socks with one skein of the color, then in a size S, that's because that's what I used. Then what I did is that I did not make the whole sock, but I started it like 4 stitches less than what pattern calls, and then it is shorter. But so basically I just cast on 4 stitches less, and then I follow the pattern, and that way I did almost not have any scraps. So I was playing a bit yarn chicken, but after making the first sock, I waved the yarn, and then I saw that there is 52 grams left, and the skein is 100. So yeah, so I knew that I'm gonna be just fine, even it looked like at the end that the yarn leftovers were just so small. But yeah, mathematics are working here today, or this day. So I have 3 socks, and I'm really happy for it. As you already seen, I ordered more of yarn, and so I'm gonna make more of those. Thinking that I am going to, of course, make the second one of the whites that in the long version, so they fit, and then I ordered 2 more of those, so I'm gonna make the shorter version. So I want one more short version for myself, and then I have a friend that she really loves warm socks, woolly socks, but she's not a knitter, so I thought that it's gonna be a gift for her. And it's actually the same person who's gonna get the head. So yes, this is, so there are my FOs. The gauge for this one, it's 13 stitches per 10 centimeters, and I think I got 12. Or the opposite. But yeah, it's really nice knit. And now I would like to show you my work in progress. Just give me a second. So my works in progress. I will start with showing you my sock. So this is where I am with the sock. With the Beksinski colorway, which is very green today, but it's actually more blue turquoise in a reel. So I made a cuff, I made a heel, which is a boomerang heel, as is my go-to heel, and I made a foot, and right now I'm on the toe decreases. Yeah, I make it on a 2.5mm needle size on the C-knit, those small circulars, which I love. And I have to say, it's like sock knitting in this 2.5mm. It's not my favorite, so that is what is going so slow. But I mean, it's going. Last time I've showed you, I think I was just here, or maybe I just turned for the heel. And I put this little stitch marker, which I don't know, I bought it somewhere. It's not, I think I bought it somewhere in Poland many years ago. It's like a little puddle duck. And I put it here because I want to know where I started my heel. So that's a little trick, because I don't follow any pattern. I just cast on 60 stitches and then I knitted for as long as I felt it was right. And just to make sure that the second sock is gonna be the same, so I put the stitch marker, and when I'm gonna make a second sock, I'm gonna eyeball it till where I feel I started the heel, and then I'm gonna count the rows to make sure that they're the same. And it's really nice because when you know where you turn the heel, then you can also count it for the foot, that it's the same length. So this is where I am. I thought I'm gonna be done with at least one sock for this episode, but the problem is that my mind is all over the place, and I really want to cast on everything. Like, there are so many patterns, good patterns I would like to knit right now, which I'm also gonna talk about. So yeah. There are many people who contacted me and asked about this colorway, if it's gonna be up again. And as it is right now, I have to say that I don't know, because this sock base, I don't really have it at home right now. So I would have to order it, and I'm not saying it's not gonna happen, but it's not like right now. So it might come in the future, this sock base, and if I can make the same colorway. I think I kind of know what I did, but it was also very experimental for me, the way I was dyeing the yarn. So I really can't promise, but when I do it, then I'm gonna tell you about it here on podcast and Instagram, I guess. So that was my first work in progress, and I would like to show you something that you haven't seen. But I really wanted to cast this one on. And it is here. So this sweater, it was on my to knit list for a very long time. I bought the pattern from Refined Knitwear when she had the sale that I think it was like when you buy 3 patterns, then you have some % off, or you can buy 2 and get third for free. I don't remember, but it was some kind of discount. So I bought many of her patterns. I have at least 3 or 4. They're quite nice. And this is a Kajsa sweater V-neck. And I chose it's like the version, because you have a different versions of the sweaters with V-neck. but I chose the one with like a puff shoulder, which I hope you can see here. I'm also putting my fist here so you can see it better. And this is a really nice constructions as well. I am knitting it in 2 strands of silky mohair, as she called in her pattern. I am using a Colorwork Candy Crush. It's because I dyed it in, so it's my Uniko yarns. So I dyed it and I was so curious about how it's gonna look. And I don't know, these colors are just making me so happy. It's like blue and yellow and pink in a very pastel version. So they just look like a sorbet. And there are some greens and purples because where the colors meet. So there are some parts of that. About the construction. So you start, it's a top down, as you can see. I knitted on a 4 millimeters needle size. And while you knit the first rows, then you make the increases for the puff arm. So they started just here. And to make a puff arm, then you cast on many, many, many stitches, and then you decrease here. So there are like those lines of decreases. So the stitch count is fine for the shoulders. And then of course you need it flat, back and forth, to make the V-neck. And after making that, you join in the round and knit it there. And after that, I'm gonna pick the stitches on a V-neck and make a rib, I think. Was that? So this is where we are. We're in the body. So I cast it on after making the balaclava. And after I make an order for more Icelandic yarn, so I was I was just considering how to use my time, how to use my hands in the evening. So I decided to cast this one on. And I know maybe it's not that warm, even though silk mohair is quite warm. But I thought I'm gonna need it anyway, so why not now? And I have all these stitch markers. I'm just using safety pins because they were around. Oh, can't see them. So I'm using these safety pins to see how, because at the beginning you are increasing symmetrically till the point where you have to increase differently for the sleeves and for the neck. So just to make it easier for myself, I make those safety pins. About the pattern is, I think this pattern is like the opposite of the knitting for olive pattern. So Rika, she is explaining a lot. So there's a lot of text and she really explained it very precisely. What you do, how you do, is almost like taking in a hand and going step by step, and then you can also check if your stitch count is right. So in that way, even there are quite many techniques you use, and there are quite many things you have to do. It is quite beginner friendly, I would say. But as advanced knitter, I think it's maybe too much for me. But I was thinking, like, what do you like? Do you prefer the patterns that take you in your hand and go with you just step by step, explaining every part and making sure that you did not make mistake, or you are a knitter that prefer that like the pattern is very simple, as short as possible, and you just find out yourself what kind of knitter are you? It is interesting, because I'm not sure. I think I'm something in between. I like some kind of guidance, but I also like, I don't need that as much. What I wanted to say also, this is, I really like this raglan. It's a raglan sweater. I don't know if I mentioned, but I really like this way she made the raglan. So there are no masks in between, but she made it this very smart way. So the holes are not too big, but they are actually quite pretty. So really good job with designing it. And I actually swatched for it. So after my big fail last time with swatching for the sweater, and some people writing to me like, swatch, gauge, remember? Then I thought like, okay, I'm gonna be a good girl, so I'm gonna swatch, and I made a swatch. It's not the biggest swatch in the world, but I mean, it is big enough, I think. How do you swatch? Do you make like this 20 centimeter swatch? Or what I like to do is I like to take the gauge from the pattern and double it up. So like if the pattern says 20 stitches, then I'm making 40. And I'm trying to knit as long as I have my patience for knitting a swatch. And this swatch is actually in the round, which I don't know if you can see it, but because the thing is that you're supposed to make, if you knit in a round, you're supposed to also to swatch in the round. But I think it's kind of annoying. So I found that tutorial, or I've heard it from someone, how you can swatch in the round, but without having those long strings in the backside, which you have to cut to make it flat, or making the tube. So I kind of cheated, so I made it like this. So my flows are just here. Do you know that technique? It's like the one that you knit and then you put 3 lengths of the strand in your left hand, and then you knit again with this loop instead of making the floats. Do you know that technique? Or I was considering if this technique is not that known, I could maybe make a tutorial. But I don't know, maybe it's known. But it's actually a very good way of swatching. I really like it. So that was that. That was my second work in progress, and then I would like to show you my third, which is also my acquisition, because, and this is not really any secret, that I wanted to make another Icelandic sweater, or an Icelandic wool sweater for myself. So I have bought some more yarn, and this is Alafosslopi from Istex. And I bought this same gray as previously for my first sweater. And yeah, because my boyfriend said that he don't want us to have the same sweater, so I decided to invert it. So the gray or white with speckles are the contrast color, and then I decided that I want the black one with the small speckles. And I know that the black yarn is not the most oops, losing stitches. It's not the most picture or video friendly, because it's hard to see the structure, but I also really wanted to have a black sweater which I could wear to everything. So after making some research with from the designs you recommended to me, and thinking about if I would like to make the one from the Skein, which I'm really happy for, and I already had it, but then like knitting same pattern twice, it's not the most exciting, even if it's really good one. So I searched Ravelry and I started this one. Whoop. Sorry. So this is a cardigan. And it's called Vega. Vega cardigan. And I'm gonna butter it now. It is from Kajsa, Vuorela, Tornedalsfront. It's a Swedish design, so I should know how to say it. But I'm gonna put it on the screen and under in the box under the video. And this is this amazing Colorwork sweater, and I already have some. So it has a Colorwork only on the sleeves, and I really love it. It is so beautiful. I was watching the other projects on the, like what other people did with it on the Instagram and Ravelry, and I'm just in love with each one. I was considering to make it as a sweater, not as a cardigan, but then I thought that I just want to have it easy, so I want to just follow the pattern. And you need it top down. There is a folded neck. She made a really nice, she's chosen a really nice cast on technique. So you cast on with 2 needle sizes, the ribbing one and the main body one, simultaneously. So it's like a provisional cast on, but what it's different that the live stitches are already on the needle that you will be knitting on the body, and then you just need to flat the ribbing. It's 2x2 ribbing, and after you are done with the ribbing, then you fold it and knit those together with the body needles, and there is no like, then you don't have to sew anything afterwards or pick up stitches. It's very easy and nice that way. And then it's a raglan sweater, so that's where the black sweater are not good to knit show, but I hope you see something. So this is a raglan with 2 stitches in the raglan, and then the Colorwork. So I have this thing that I wanted to, there was a time that I wanted to knit the throwback sweater from Andrea Marvi, which is amazing and beautiful, and I actually bought it, and then I found out that it's a Colorwork which is worked flat, and I chickened. I basically chickened also because I read some comments that working color weight flat, it's very hard when you have to make a Colorwork with on the wrong side. So when you purl the colorway. So I totally chickened, and then this one I was like, oh no, can I do it? I never tried it. I'm not like a Colorwork person. I like color, but it's not stranded Colorwork. But then at the same time, I really loved how the cardigan looks, so I thought, then I'm just gonna give it a try. And if I cannot, it's like, if it's too hard, then I'm gonna rib it, and then I'm gonna make the sweater. So I would just knit in the round. But yeah, I started, and I think it's actually not that hard. Yeah, I'm just purling instead of knitting, and then the strand that is normally behind, it's going in front. So that's just the only difference, but actually it's very easy. And this is not only Colorwork, but it's also intarsia. So the difference is that I'm having two places when I have a Colorwork, so on the sleeves. So I'm using 2 separate balls of the white yarn. Oh, you can actually see my floats. So I'm using 2 separately yarn balls, and I mean, yeah, it is just that easy. And then the bulky wave, it makes that it's going very fast. I think I started 3 days ago. Yeah. I think it's 3 days ago. So I think it's going fast forward. And then, yeah, I think I'm in the 1/3 of the chart for the Colorwork. And then I'm gonna put the stitches of the sleeve on hold and make the body and pick up stitches in the front. I'm keep losing stitches, God. So I'm gonna put the sleeves on hold, and then I'm gonna make the place where the button will be. And I'm so much looking forward for this wonderful warm sweater. I think I'm gonna, I didn't look up on the pattern yet, but I think I'm gonna make the Italian bind off because I really like the way it looks. I made it in my sweater, in my boyfriend's sweater, the one from the Skandir. And what I learned is that Alafosslopi really don't like the Italian bind off because you have to, with the needle, you have to push the yarn through the loops all the time. And that makes it really, really hard. And the yarn is not tightly spun. So it's it is like this. But while binding off the sweater, I only cut the wool once, and it was not that bad as I thought it's gonna be, because I was considering it can happen, and it happened. But then it was just easy. I just picked the thread, and I took a needle and I just waved it in, and you can't see it. And I think it's gonna be fine because it is such a catchy yarn. So I think it's just gonna hold. Yeah, I'm quite sure it's gonna be fine. So I'm planning to do the same with this sweater or cardigan. So yes, I am knitting it on 5mm because this is what the stitch count is calling for. And now I gauged, I make the swatch both with the big sweater and with my socks. So now I'm quite confident that it's the right size. But I'm using this technique while knitting with the right hand. I'm holding the 5mm, and then on the left hand, I'm holding 4.5mm because my purling is a bit looser than my knitting. So that way I'm ensuring that the gauge is holds, and it's also very easier to slide the yarn or the stitches from left to right. So that's a little tip. The pattern is calling for bigger needles, but yeah, I'm a loose knitter, so that's fine. So yeah, I think this is my whips, my work in progress. So now I'm gonna tell you some of my inspirations, because as I told you, I am not really making my Make 9 for 2021. I never did it. And that is simply because I think that there are so many great patterns coming up all the time, so many great designers, new designers that are coming up, and I just don't want to be definite about what I'm gonna knit in the future. And I was right, because already there are 2 sweaters which are in a test that I really want to cast on right now. So I'm just gonna show you what is on my closest lists. That doesn't mean I'm gonna knit them all, but they're actually right now in my radar. So I'm gonna put the pictures on the screen. I will start with the Konfetti sweater from Sharin's Knitwear. And this is actually the pattern that I'm already kind of beginning. So I made a swatch. Yeah, who am I? This is a swatch for the yarn. It's not the colors I'm gonna originally use. But I found this design on Instagram. There was a picture that she posted, Sharin post, and she was searching for the test knitters. So I wrote to her and asked if I could test knit for her, because I really love the sweater. It is a men's sweater, and also because I am about to test some new base. So I thought it's gonna be great to both taste a new base and test her knitwear and make some sweater for my boyfriend, because I don't know, it's like I have knitted him 3 sweaters in 6 years we've been together, and then this year I already knit him 2, and then the 3rd one is on his way. So yeah. But the confetti sweater. So what I'm gonna do, it's a white sweater with this small with these stitches in the different colors. So no, I'm not gonna make him pink sweater, but I decided I'm gonna dye yarn especially for that occasion. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make one in the white base as in a pattern, and then I use the navy, and I'm gonna use as well like this beautiful, what is it? Is it like purple? This one, and this one. And I want to dye a dark green as well, like the tree green, like needle trees. But we will see how it goes, because this is a new base that I'm testing. I don't really want to tell you much facts about it, but what I found out is that it takes dye very differently than the bases I have at home that I tested, that I'm selling on my web shop. Because this one, it's actually the same dye as Bloody Mary, which on silk mohair and merino looks really red, like dark red, but still red. And this one have nothing to do with red in my eyes, but it's still amazing color. And my boyfriend, when he came and he saw this one, he said like, "Whoa, this is really nice color." And I said like, "Oh, that's good, because it's for you." So yes. So this is gonna be a Colorwork on a 4mm needles. I'm quite afraid that my gauge does not fit. I did not wash it, so it can still change. I'm gonna wash it today. I did not wash it because I want to show it here on the podcast. And this is the same way I'm testing. So it is like knitting in the round, but I'm cheating. So you can see my floats. And you can see also that I decided that the Colorwork strands are finishing here, just to not make it too tangly. But yes, so I need to wash it and maybe make one more swatch on a 4.5mm, because I think it's gonna be better. So this is the first sweater, which is already on. And then I have seen the Magnolia bloom sweater from Camilla Vad. She is a designer behind the Magnolia series and the deep dye series, which I really love. I have actually her pattern for Magnolia sweater from Line magazine, and I really considered to make it. It never happened, but I really like the pattern, like this flowers with bubbles and leaves, and but what is with Magnolia series is that this pattern is on the button on the sweater, and that's like the part when I'm often putting into my trousers or my dresses. So I thought if I'm gonna make this pattern there, it's gonna bulk in my trousers. So actually that's the only reason why I did not make it yet. But the upcoming pattern, it has the pattern here on the top. So it's top-down sweater, and I think it's a chunky wave. She did not really tell which gauge it is and which yarn she used, but it looks quite bulky to me. But it's definitely top-down, and this beautiful pattern is happening here. So this is what I'm gonna for sure making this year. And then I have a Peplum sweater junior, which is from a Nordic Knitting Tale. And she is knitting on a 3.5mm needle size, and she connects 2 strands. So it's one of silky mohair and one of merino fingering wave. And I'm thinking about making for my daughter. And this is basically because she really don't like to wear any sweaters, any warm pieces of garderobe, but in making her kind of dress, because this little fleece, or what it's called, on the base, it's making more dressy, and that's what she likes. So I thought that I could cheat her and make this sweater dress for her. Yeah, so that might happen in the future. I don't have a yarn for that, so I think it's a bit more in the future than those sweaters. Then I have a spot sweater from Ventzel. It is a Danish designer, but she's also making patterns in different languages. For sure in English, but I think it's also in Swedish and German, I think. But you can check it if you're interested. So a spot sweater, when I saw it, I was like, okay, it's nice with this white base and all over pattern. But then when I saw on Instagram someone knitting in the dark color and white color work, then I was like, oh, I really need to knit this one. So she is knitting it in 2 strands. It's a merino and silk mohair, and then a contrast color. So I thought I'm gonna make it in this one, the navy. And together with the pink. And I'm gonna take the strand of the silk mohair in navy color. Oh, it's there. So this is the colorway I'm gonna make. And this is also in relation to that I would like to test this base and see how it is to knit with it, and how it looks, how it wears, you know, all that jazz, before I put it to the web shop. I hope it's gonna be good. At least I really like how the colors show on them. It's quite pretty. Yeah, and yeah, so it's quite many color works I'm planning to make. So I was thinking that maybe if you're interested, that we could maybe make a call. So knit along with a color work. And I think it's also because I would like to stay motivated, and suddenly in my life there is many color works. And as I already said, I'm not like a color work person. I think I made 3 color works before in my whole knitting story, my knitting journey. So it's quite new for me, but I thought that it would be fun to make a knit along. So I was thinking that maybe knit along could be that we would make it on the Instagram, so we could inspire and motivate each other, and so it would have a hashtag colorwork _Uniko _KL. I put it on the screen, and then we could knit for some months, maybe till May or June, and I would of course pick some random winner of the picture on the end, and there are gonna be some prizes, like there are gonna be for sure some yarn from me, because I can, And I think there are gonna be some surprises as well coming along. So what do you think about it? Would you be interested in making a Colorwork call? I never did it before, and I think it would be only on Instagram till now. I am considering to open the Ravelry group. I have had my Ravelry like a private, which I opened it many years ago, but I was really motivated to have my Ravelry, but then I'm knitting faster than I'm writing. So it ended up that I had like few projects on my Ravelry page, and then I stopped writing it down, which is a bit stupid, especially now, because some people are contacting me and asking what yarn I used, which color I used, and how many skeins I used. And yeah, and I'm actually not reading it. It's like not written anywhere, so it's hard to remember. So I'm considering to opening the Ravelry account for the Uniko. So maybe in the future I'm gonna make a call there as well. Maybe it's gonna be till next episode. But so we could have like 2 places where you could join. I never tried it on Ravelry, so I have to just research it a bit how it works. But definitely it's something that might happen. And let me know if you would be interested. Then we could maybe start it on the 1st of February, or I don't know, the next episode. Yeah, because I have quite many I want to knit. Because the last one of my inspiration is gonna be it is a Seli sweater from Aleks Byrd, which I already showed you on the last episode, and it's still on. I still think it's beautiful with Latin braid, and it is not really like the stranded color work. It is rosamine, I think that's the way you say it. It's kind of like an embroidery technique, but it is embroidery while you're knitting. So it's like something between embroidery and intarsia color knit. And I think that should count as well, because it is knitting after all. So yeah, the picture is coming here, and I think it's amazing. I don't have a yarn for it yet, but it will definitely, it's on my to knit list. But let me know what you think about Cal. Would you be part of it? Yes, so that was the inspiration. I think there are many more good patterns. I'm actually considering to make a pattern for what is called, it's from Spektakelstrik knits. It's called Lykkejumper, which I already knitted once, and I think it's such a good wear, especially not maybe in the winter, but in the spring and summer when it's getting warmer. It's a sweater I was wearing a lot last year, so I was considering to knit that as well. But yeah, just to say that there are so many good knits. But those I showed you, there are definitely some which are coming on my needles right away after finishing those. So yeah, that was the knitting content for today, I think. And what I wanted to maybe talk a bit is this New Year thing. So the New Year in this year was quite different. And I have to say, it was quite bad. And I know that Instagram and YouTube is all about this glory and amazingness, but I think it was bad. It's like it was quite stressful, and then yeah, we couldn't meet with those people who we normally would, which is fine because of the situation we have. But it's just like, it was so stressful, and we first started to make a dinner around 8 o'clock in the evening, and I didn't even know if we can eat before the midnight, or where we are, where we're supposed to be. We had some plans, but it didn't work out. So it was just bad. How was your New Year's Eve? Was it as bad? Because I saw on Instagram people were just like 5 o'clock in the nice clothes and drinking champagne or having fun, and I was sitting in my car and actually crying because everything what I planned was just ruined. My daughter was really angry at me because she forgot her toy in the house, and my boyfriend was working. He's working at building our house, and he was not done, so he was making some stuff and hungry and cold, and I was just there, and I was supposed to make pizza, but the oven did not work, and it was just a disaster one by one. And I think there was just like a conclusion of 2020 of like how chaotic and weird it was, that how weird was our evening. And I mean, after all, it ended fine because when I let go of my expectation and of my plans, then I could relax and just take it as it come. So after like all, I enjoyed it, and we made some karaoke and drink some champagne. And it was fine. I mean, it was just weird. Yeah. I hope your New Year's Eve was better than mine. But like starting New Year's is it's quite amazing, and I think this year was also full moon. So energetically, I feel like there are so many things I want to do and I have in my mind, and there are so many things that are gonna happen now in 2021 that I would actually really like to share with you as well. So waking up in 2021, the 1st of January, even I was so tired in my head and I really felt bumps and I didn't want to do anything, like anything at all other than knitting and sing podcasts, that I still felt like, wow, new is coming and I'm so happy it's 21 now and the craziness from 2020 is over and now we can just look forward. So what is gonna happen is that in 2021, we are for sure gonna move, which is making me so happy because we've been waiting for that time for a long time. We are right now renting this house where we are, but we are gonna move to other place on Bornholm, which is like community of people with small families that lives together on the 10 hectare of land. And there are horses and we're gonna have sheep. And there are dogs and cats and rats and there are vegetables. People are growing vegetables. There are like dinners that we're eating together already now, but like once a week where we sit down and talk and and people who are connecting and supporting each other and living together and sharing stuff, because it's so amazing that when you live in this community you can share things. You don't need to buy a tractor, you can have a tractor in common, and people with different ages. So there is like small kids under 1 year old, and then there are teenagers, there are almost grown-ups, no, there are grown-ups, there are a bit older grown-ups. This is, I'm so much looking forward. So we're gonna move. My boyfriend, he's just fixing the last things. So I hope that on the end of January we can start to pack our stuff and move it. And that also means that I need to find a workspace for my yarn business. Where I'm dyeing yarn, I need to have a workshop, which is great because having a dedicated space for creativity, that's gonna be amazing. and I'm gonna have much more focus on my work, because in this year is also the year that I have to start working as entrepreneur and trying to make my small business running. And I'm really I'm both scared, a bit scared, and then I'm really excited about it, that I can try my powers on that. And yeah, so this is gonna be amazing year. I was also thinking that maybe if you are interested in like small businesses, then I was thinking about maybe making some separate playlists with vlogs from what does it actually mean to have a small business, to be independent, and just show how it looks, because I think people have so many ideas how it is to be a not hired person, but what it's called. It's selvstændig in Danish, but I think it's called entrepreneur, isn't it? So I was thinking about maybe making like the short movies, vlogs of day life, and also from the moving, which is scary, and going more minimalistic lifestyle and down to earth and to nature. And then our new bases are coming in the shop, which is also super exciting. So this is what I'm having in my mind right now. Also the writing patterns, I think it's super exciting. I would really like to look at it, and I think it would be great to be a part of my small business as well. But let me know what you think about this, about all these ideas I have. And I think this is all for today. The last thing I would like to say is that my box with Christmas gift, it's finally is landed in Warsaw in my family. So at least my sister and her small family got their gifts, and I think they're gonna give it to my parents when they can. And gifts are well received. They are super happy. So I got so many pictures of them wearing the knits, and they are super, super happy. So that is something really heartwarming, because I was so afraid it's never gonna get there. It was in a travel already 1 month, so it was a time. But yes, now I'm glad, and I can chill and relax and look forward. So yeah, but that was for now, and I wish you all the best in 2021. Let me know your plans. Are you also having so many crazy changes and switches in your life, or is it just continuation of what's happening in 2020, or what are you looking for? And I hope you stay safe. I hope you are happy, and I wish you all the best in 2021. I hope to see you next time. Bye.